And welcome to Tarmac. I'm Dave.
I'm Matthew, and today we've got something that makes us look quite tiny actually, because it's the new, bigger, better, safer Isuzu MU-X.
That's right, it's the second generation MU-X, long awaited I might add. It's got 3.5 ton towing, and look at it, it's huge, it's enormous. Come, let's take a long walk around it. With this second generation, what they've done is made it a little bit more refined. They've I don't know, smartened it up, given it more chrome, given it more of an aesthetic look that's pleasing to the eye. I mean, it was never really that ugly, but it's a lot more pleasing now. Looking at the grille, you've got sort of this 2 or 3 sort of layer, I don't know, cascading grille that actually goes out to meet these LED arrow-shaped headlights, so which are, you know, like I said, the front is really good, but it's also so tall. Look, you know, I'm 7 feet tall, and look how much it gets to me. I'm not 7, by the way. Round the side, now admittedly most cars seem to dwarf me, even like a, I don't know, a Mazda little 2-seater, but anyway, look at this, the dimensions are massive. I have to jump up on this side step to get anywhere near. Honestly, speaking of ladder frames, I need a ladder to get in. Sitting on 20-inch feet, so and plenty of rubber, so really does sit high off the ground, and actually it does have a 235mm ground clearance. And as if to underline its off-road capabilities, it's now got an 800mm wading depth. So again, I don't know, 800 mils? I don't know, massive. Anyway, its look really has, you know, shape-wise hasn't really changed. Can you still hear me back here? But look, if I keep going back, it's just huge. I can just about still see you. Can you see me? Anyway, round the back, the tail end has been refined, but you know, it's still a tail end. But the big thing about it, aside from the fact that it now tows 3.5 tons, is the fact that it's electronic. Oh, look at that. I'm carrying my goods, I don't have to do anything. And straight into this massive trunk space that is actually 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 seaters. So you can actually pull those seats up and just house lots of people inside. Under this, believe me, this is a heavy bonnet, is a 3-litre turbo diesel strapped to a 6-speed auto that gives you 140 kilowatts of power, 450 newton meters of torque, so actually plenty of torque. It doesn't exactly sip fuel, but it does have an 80-litre fuel tank now, so there's more fuel to go around, so less time in between breaks, which is all right. Speaking of things with a big fuel tank, Matthew's inside and he'll show you what's going on in there.
Now, I might not be that efficient, I guess, but something that's pretty efficient with its usage of space is the interior of this MU-X. So it's not just a big car on the outside and to be imposing to other drivers on the road. It's a big car because it's practical as well. So when you hop into the cabin, you have heaps of storage space down the side there. You've got your 2 cup holders there. You've got space for your phone right there. You've got 1 glove box there and another down there. And then in the middle, this center console might not look that big, but when I pop it open, what do I have under there? I've got a mask, I've got my wallet, I've got my sunglasses as well. Everything you need for traveling can all be stored in here. And if you're looking for more space to store your cups, both the driver and passenger have these cool little pop-out cup holders that you can just do that with and stick your coffee cup in there. And then if you want to heat or cool your drink, it's right in front of the air conditioning vent, so that's practical as well. Now, it's not just practical. Isuzu have lined the outside of the car with chrome and big wheels and all that, but on the inside, what they've done is give it the full leather treatment. The interior finishes are covered in chrome, piano black plastic, and everything just feels nice and a bit more premium to touch on the inside, which is always a good step up. And considering that this big rugged SUV has not only heated seats, a nice infotainment screen, 8 speakers as well. It's comfortable off-road and on-road, which is pretty nice. Speaking of that infotainment screen, let's do a quick dive into that. Now this infotainment screen is a little bit has sort of quirks of its own, if you like. For example, the caution message doesn't just go away automatically. You have to consciously accept it every time. And then that takes you into this home screen. So laid out quite simply there. It's got navigation as well, pretty useful. All the shortcuts you need are laid out across there. Connecting your mobile phone is a little bit of a tough task, should I say. And for some reason I couldn't get the audio to work on my phone, so I had to resort to using one of these. For our younger viewers, this is what's called an aux cord. But somehow Dave got his phone to work, so I don't know, maybe it just doesn't like me. It's got a really nice touch, which is actually these button shortcuts here. Not something you see on infotainment screens these days, but really useful if you're a driver and you don't want to keep taking your eyes off the road to look at the screen. Speaking of screens, there's another one just in front of the driver, so let's have a quick look at that. The steering wheel covered in a nice leather there, and you've got shortcut buttons across the front here, including radar cruise control, which is a really nice touch. The gauge cluster there is a nice analog setup, but in the middle you've got a screen that shows you your gear and your basic information, and you can keep flicking through there with these buttons here. So you get your trip information, fuel efficiency, and of course what sort of bearing you're heading on, which is always something useful for a proper off-road machine like this. Speaking of taking this car for a drive, let's go and do that now.
One of the cool things about this new MU-X is the fact that you can double click on there, hold down the start, and all on demand. Awesome. Can start it wherever you are. Well, you know, within eyeshot of it. The bad thing about it is, though, it's getting nice and toasty, nice and ready to go. You go to it, switches it off before you can get in. To be honest, not so happy about that.
So, the new Isuzu MU-X. What's it like off-road, basically, where it's designed to be? I think it's really good, quite comfortable.
Yeah, look, it's bouncy, as you'd expect. This is not off-road, but I know it's capable to go off-road. This is just, well, forest road, so it's pretty bumpy, and it's so stable. We've got it in 4 high, so you could go 2-wheel drive and see if that rear end can drift a little bit, but this is really secure, really stable.
It's, you know, quite a rough gravelly road here, but you can't hear any of the jittering in our voices. You can't hear plastic rattles, nothing squeaking and making noise. It's very comfortably gliding over this road, actually, and gliding over in comfort, because we are here wrapped in leather and in quite a nice, you know, chrome-filled cabin.
Yeah, and let's talk about the cabin for the moment. I mean, it really is quite expansive. It does comfortably seat 7. There's 3-zone air conditioning, so that you can keep the ones in the back cool or hot, depends on what you want to do, and also plenty of legroom. You can get in and out of the back here nice and easily as well. So if you've got kids, if you've got multiple of kids, you can throw them in the back without too much of an issue. Wouldn't necessarily take them on the long drive from Auckland to Wellington. You may get some irritation there, but it's pretty good. And when it comes to refinement, like Matthew says, there's plenty of leather, plenty of places to put everything you need for the family or whatever you want to do. And also the audio is good once you can get it going. It's just really well put together.
And you can just about see the window back there, so there's a lot of distance between us and the back end of the car, so that size on the outside is pretty well translated to the size on the inside.
How is the visibility actually?
It's pretty good. I think the front windows especially are nice and big, but they do kind of taper off as you go to the back. But then you've got stuff like lane keep assist, so it takes care of that blind spot monitoring for you.
It's funny you should bring up the safety. One of the big things about this is that there's an airbag that will pop up should we ever crash, which I hope we don't, in between the two of us, so we're not going to crack heads on the way through. It is 5-star all the way, and you're going to need it if you, well, hopefully you never need it, actually, is my comment on that.
And it's no surprise that both the D-Max and the MU-X scored really high scores all across the board in the Australia Safety or NCAP testing, which is something that they should be proud of. And anybody who buys these cars should be reassured that their family of 7 is well taken care of.
Getting in and out of this thing, of this SUV, for me, I'm so pleased that it's got the grab handles where they should be, front and rear. So literally, I can hop on in without too much of a trouble. I still think I need a ladder, actually.
And it's just as well they have those foot rails as well to help you with that extra step up.
Power-wise, look, it's not a sports car, but for me, there's so much torque and it's low end. So if you are towing stuff and that increased towing capability of 3.5 tons, really, there's plenty. If you've got boats behind you or quad bikes or whatever you've got, loads. It's pretty good that way.
And the length of the roof means you can, tie stuff like a canoe and probably lots of other things, bikes and things to the roof, and nothing will really overhang front or back. Though when you're tying stuff to the roof, you might want to watch your height because it may not get into most multi-story car parks that way.
You're right, it is tall.
It is really tall, so do check those bars when you are driving into places. On the other hand, even though it's tall and wide and everything, steering is nice and light. It is surprisingly light actually for a car of this weight and size, and easy to maneuver. Though doing 3-point turns and U-turns, you do need to go through quite a few motions of turning the steering wheel, but that's all part of the fun of driving something big like this.
Behind it all, there's now, now there's wobbling. That's me wobbling, not the vehicle, I reckon. Behind it all, braking system now is disc brakes all around, so stopping power is really good for this hefty vehicle. And also it's got a live rear end, so coils and stuff like that, so to make sure that it's nice and soft on the road. And also the you'll know about this, the diff locks.
It's actually got a really smart differential system, and which is key for off-roading on roads that are much worse than the one we're on right now. So it'll make sure that you've got traction to all the wheels that have got the grip, and they'll be the ones pulling you out of those mucky and tight spaces basically. So it's really been designed to be comfortable and to be able to get you out of the dirt when you're out of the city limits, which is really where this car's at home.
And when you are in the city limits, it'll even park itself. There's a little button here that you can just happily just park for you, so take some of the pressure off that way.
So while you are in town, you will feel the size of the MU-X, and it certainly does let you know of that, because all the sensors front and back keep beeping at you when you're going around various narrower streets and things. And one of the things which I noticed is that it is a little bit scared for a car of this size, so the automatic braking or the emergency braking will come on even though you might think there's distance in front. I've had it come on twice while I've been driving, but that could be just some feedback about my driving too, I think.
That's basically it. Never comes on when I drive. There you have it, the new Isuzu MU-X, second generation, and boy, they've learned a lot from the first. Well, it was around for long enough after all. I mean, it's bigger, it's more technically advanced, it's a dream to drive, actually.
And it doesn't just look improved and, look more luxurious now. It still is true to its roots of being a proper off-road SUV, something that's, capable on sand, dirt, water, whatever. It's still the MU-X.
Yeah, we've got to find a stream to forge, and the extra height makes it difficult to get in for me anyway. Well, actually, it's quite easy with the handles, but let's go find some forging streams, and I don't know, we won't. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe. It is around here somewhere. There's also a bell to ring, or I don't know, something.
And who knows what we'll be in next time, but make sure you come along for the ride.